Hello everybody, welcome back to Sector 1. We are here tonight for some Category 1 racing action around the States Village.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning, and this is just the beginning. I need a big change, only feels like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all. And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?
Hello everybody, welcome back to Sector 1.
He only goes second two! Oh my goodness!
Geez, you went wide.
Oh, he's run wide and goes dead!
Oh my!
Oh no! No! You can't do that!
See that steering wheel? What that hurts.
Fuzzy is somehow keeping it on the track surface! The spectacular drive, and he will take his first win in the top flight of Sector 1.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, and everybody else. Welcome back to Sector 1 Sim Racing, Season number 12, the Legacy Series. I am your host tonight, Mr. Carbon Boy. And tonight, for round 6, we are in the rolling hills of Sardegna, off the coast of Italy. And tonight we are hosting Category 1B, thanks to one of our very proud sponsors, in the form of Boxer Beauty. So you can thank them for helping bring the broadcast to us all tonight. Just wanted to say hello to everybody so far in the YouTube chat. We've got Aussie Sim Racing 97, Mr. Madrick, hello, Mr. Debrev, a pleasure to have you as always. And must say that joining me tonight in the comms box is none other than, well, it's just me tonight due to a bit of a personnel shortage. So unfortunately you're going to get a double dose of my voice. So apologies in advance, and hopefully that you can put up with that for the next 45-50 minutes or so. Oh, pardon me. That was a little bit of water going down the breathing tube instead of the swallowing tube, so my apologies for that right there. So, without further ado, let's have a little bit of a look at the track here at Sardegna tonight in the form of our lovely track map brought to you by our graphical genius over at LJ Media, Mr. Lenosis. Cheeky plug right there. Now we've got the Sardegna A road course. It is a bit over 5.1 kilometres long. There's 15 corners. Now we are back to our standard race format tonight. So we've got the usual 10 minutes of qualifying. We are a set lap race tonight, so there will be 26 of said laps. Usual tyre usage of 2 times, 3 times fuel use, and a 4 litres a second refuel rate. Unlike our endurance race last week where they had all compounds open, I don't think anybody actually ended up using the hard tyre, so effectively we're just back to the usual soft and medium tyres available. Now, in terms of strategy tonight, pretty much confirmed that it is a one-stop only. Sorry, Captain Muffin, I don't think the alt strat is going to be a viable option here. So you got two ways you can cut it. You can do a single stop on the medium tyre, or you can do a single stop on the soft tyre. And what tyre you choose will depend entirely on what you are comfortable with and or what your car and setup can make last for the 50% race distance of 13 laps. We'll also have a quick look at the current standings of the points just before we kick off the qualifying tonight. Now, after the Bathurst endurance race, we currently have a Black Rose Racing leading the way in terms of the team's points. They are sitting pretty on 571. A little bit off the back of them on 501.5 is Dadson Racing. In third place on 483 is the mighty powerhouse of CP Motorsports, and also worth noting that they have used 0 of their 4 available Joker cards this season. So with 2.5 rounds to go, 4 Joker cards to play, that's still plenty of opportunities to snag some double points, and that current 88-point deficit might just drop very, very quickly pending results. Fourth place, we've got the Doghouse Motorsport boys on 459.5. In fifth place are my lads over at APR Motorsport. I am somewhat surprised. I did not foresee ourselves being that high up on the tables, especially after my less than stellar result last week, which we will move on very quickly from. Nipping at our heels in P6 is Lightning Motorsport on 393.5. Then we've got Thunder Motorsport on 387. Rocky 05 Sim Racing on 373.5 in 8th. In 9th, we've got Kraken Esports on 370.5. Zero Turn in 10th on 359.5. All these half points must be giving someone out there a bit of a brain aneurysm. 11th place is Blacklight Motorsports on 358 points. We've got Hoon Corp on 301.5 in 12th. Jamco in 13th on 262. And Hyperdrive following up in the rear on 217.5 points. And of course we also have, if I can find the correct button to click, that would make a nice change, wouldn't it? We've also got our current driver standings, and of course we'll focus on Category 1B at this stage, and leading the way is Kiwi Matt from Black Rose Racing on a touch under 200 points. And he has a very healthy margin back to stickers from Lightning Motorsport in second on 146. Nipping at his heels is Dadson. This is pretty much a carbon copy of the team points, if my memory serves me correctly. In terms of the top 3, you've got Dadson on 142.5. Not that far behind, like literally half a point, is Evil Evo from Doghouse Motorsports on 142. Then we've got Warbo from Dadson, so Evil Evo's in a bit of a Dadson sandwich right there. In 5th place on 135.5. Got Boy Bagum from words are difficult. Black Rose Racing on 127 points. Big J from Lightning Motorsport on 116. Mr. Bumcrack, the Kraken Esports team owner, on 109.5. Bit of a healthy lead over D. Reed from Doghouse Motorsport, who I have been informed is going to be absent tonight. He will not be on the grid due to real life circumstances. But his team owner in the form of the Stranger will be filling in tonight for him for some very, very important team points for the Doghouse Motorsport team. 10th place, we've got Danikio from Hoon Corp on 85 points. And we've got the new to Cat 1B, in terms of this season, this is his second round, is Mr. Niff from CP Motorsports on 61 points, taking over from Baker Boy in this season. Then we've got LP Armans from Hoon Corp on 47. And I don't think Giffo, the Jamco team owner, will be joining us tonight. I have not seen him in our practice lobby at this point, which is a bit unfortunate, but what can you do? So we will move on very, very swiftly from that unfortunate news. Quick g'day to Captain Muffin in the chat. You should be practicing, my lad. So I would highly recommend getting off the YouTubes and into the chat, into the practice laps. Now, since I'm doing a bit of double duties here, forgive me if there is a few moments of silence as I switch between the comms console and the race director's console. It is a bit of a juggling act, but I will do the absolute best I can. And hopefully we can get some people firing in the chat and, I don't know, maybe some random facts a la our good mate Rudsy, if he's going to join us tonight. If I can find the correct command. Go. Oh, there we go. I'm just dropping things everywhere as well. Fantastic. 2 hands for beginners, everyone, if we could possibly get that. Right, so I think we are good to go here for qualifying at Sardegna. Now the slideshow is showing some beautiful weather, but I'm having a bit of a look outside the window here of the comms box tonight, and it's a little bit overcast here in the foothills of the mountains. So I don't know how the tyre life is going to go for the boys tonight. It might help them, but the lack of track temperature might also come back to bite them in the butt. Now, just having a quick look at the YouTube chat. Good evening to Sector 1's favourite mum in the form of Deborah Fish. It's a pleasure to have you here tonight. Wishing all the boys at Brocky 05 Sim Racing the best of luck, and also a bit of a cheeky backhander there for Sways. She wishes him the best of luck in terms of his pit entry. For those of you who remember back to the endurance race at Bathurst a couple of weeks ago, Mr. Sways unfortunately had not the greatest pit entry, not once but twice. So hopefully he has been practicing his pit lane entries here at Sardegna tonight. From memory, it is pretty easy. Just make it past the final turn and turn right and keep the foot planted full throttle. So without further ado, I am thinking we should kick qualifying in the guts. What do you say, Mr. Carbon Boy? Yes, I think we should. The big orange button has been pressed. Now, just in case you thought that was a little bit weird to hear, it was very, very weird to say. So yeah, look, I'm not going to be going and doing that again. Talk to myself, but on stream, yeah, let's not go doing that. So we have a qualifying underway. Just going to wait for our drivers to leave the pits. And we will slap over there. So thanks to Boxer Beauty, we've got... Alright, we've got a whole bunch of drivers out on the track at the moment, and everything's a little bit chaotic until we get to our first sector split. So what we will do is... Right, so first car out on track is Mr. Danico from Hooncorp in the Mercedes SLS. Back to the standard Hooncorp liveries after their lovely retro showing last week. Actually, sorry. Oh, what there? This is going to get very, very confusing. So our second car out on track. Right, there we go. Thank you, GT7. Finally doing something right for me. We've got Kiwi Matt, our current points leader in Category 1B in the Black Rose Racing Jaguar. Third on track is his Black Rose teammate in the form of Boy Bagum, who's had a bit of up and down results here so far in season 12, but he is poised to have a very strong run at the back end of the season. And we've got the Dadson Racing Corvette belonging to Wardos in the beautiful Harvey's towing blue. Got the Doghouse Motorsport Corvette with the very distinctive green tinges that could only belong to the one, the only Evil Evo. Then Now we've got the Dadson team owner in the gorgeous Bacchus Breweries sponsored Corvette. Always love that gold livery. We've got the Lightning Motorsport SLS of Big J. Niff in the CP Motorsports Mercedes, the Lightning Motorsport team owner stickers. We've got Greg's from Hyperdrive in the lone Aston Martin filling in for team points tonight. The second Hooncorp driver in the SLS of Mr. Armans, aka the Nutman. No further context will be provided. We've got the Doghouse Motorsport team owner Stranger filling in for team points into the Jag, and bringing up the rear of the field is the plumber, Mr. Bumcrack, the Crackett Esports team owner. Now I have been keeping a bit of an eye on the practice sessions tonight, and I tell you what, it's really hard to split. There's actually about 6 drivers who, I'm going to put my prediction, in terms of qualifying, there will be the top 6 drivers will be separated by 2/10 if what I've seen in practice is anything to go by. It has been super tight up the top of the field tonight here in 1B. Might just let the drivers complete a flying lap, and we'll see if anybody decides to duck into the pits for a fresh set of rubber. If nobody does, we might just jump on board and go for a bit of a hot lap with these guys around Sardegna. As Kiwi Matt sets a flyer of a 141 flat, so I'm thinking we might just jump on board with him. As you get hard on the brakes into the turn 1, tuck into the apex, be very careful getting on the power on the exit because that gravel is all too close. Nothing but full throttle through the second part of this sector. Very tricky left-handed sweeper. You've got to time your braking for the right-hander very, very carefully, otherwise you end up in that steel fence on the left-hand side there. Heading towards the church, brake the last minute, tuck it right in against that inside wall. You've got to know where the exit of that corner is more than see it. Then onto the very long uphill back straight with that slight kink. Watch the brake markers just before the 100 metre board. Right down, nearly take out that stop sign on the left. Now this uphill right-hander in the 3rd sector. He's had a bit of a shocker there, he's half a second down. Left-hander very tricky, very easy to end up on the grass and into the wall. Can also result in a 360 no-scope. Does not go down well. Ask me how I know. And then coming onto the final corner, it's more of a... Oh, there was a slight lift there. If you get the turn-in point right, you can hold it flat as he does duck into the pits. So we will jump off from Matt, who's currently sitting second on the grid, and holy moly, Niff is, and amongst all of that, decided to drop a 140.8. He is not here to procreate with arachnids. Now, even though he's come into the season late, he is stamping his dominance very, very strongly here. Warbo looking very nice in 3rd with a 141.1. Only a 10th behind Kiwi Matt. He's got his team owner less than 0.02 of a second behind him. So obviously they've been doing very well there over at the Dadson Racing stable, as Dadson is currently purple as he takes the corner past the church. Might just hang around with Dadson for a little bit. Has dropped a little bit of time. He's up on his best, so he might be able to beat his teammate, but he's no longer purple. Oh, Boy Bagum playing lawnmower there on the exit. Currently in P6 for the Black Rose Jag driver. Another one to keep an eye on tonight is the Lightning Motorsport Mercedes. Oh, there's going to be a mass pitting. Another one to watch out for tonight is Mr. Stickers as he ducks into the pits. Rightio, so we will jump off there. So far the man to beat is Nif with a 140.8. We've got Kiwi Matt here on his outlap with a 141.0. He is 2.5 tenths behind Nif. Quite a few drivers coming out of the pits here on their outlap. Hopefully there's some driver awareness going on to jump out of the way of anybody on a hot lap. How's Matt looking at the end of the first sector? This will be a very big indicator of where he's going to be at for the rest of the lap. Oh, he is purple by 1/2 tenth. He's looking very solid here. It's very tricky to get away with trying to use a bit more of the track than what exists. It's not like Yas Marina. You can't use all the track and then some. Here at Sardegna, there are concrete and or steel walls that say no, we will not be doing that. What has Matt got here in the second sector? Oh, he's dropped a little bit. He's down on his own time by 600ths. Who else is a mover and a shaker here in the qualifying session? Got Evil Evo here getting checked up a little bit by the plumber. Or he could be getting checked up, or he could be getting one heck of a slipstream. We will wait and see. What can he do as he hammers it over the line? Oh, he goes up on his best time, overtakes the Dadson team owner by 1/1000th of a second. Oh, we are splitting hairs here. We've got Warbo with a 141. Oh, that's a massive accident there. We got Warbo with a 141.129, Evil Evo a 130, and Dadson a 131. We have 3 drivers separated by 0.02 of a second. Wow. And then less than 100th back, we've got Boy Bagum with a 141.2, who is currently purple. Nif is still on the top of the timesheet as our timer is about to come down with 5 seconds left before everybody is going to be on to their last lap. That's it. Final lap has been called. So, gentlemen, if you're ever going to pull out an absolute cracker of a qualifier, now is the time to do it. Sticking on board here with Boy Bagum. So far, no one has managed to topple Nif off the top of the timesheet. Kiwi Matt's looking very solid there in second. He did manage to improve a little bit. Oh, bang! He has gone even faster, but not quite fast enough as Boy Bagum has looped it. So unfortunately, he's going to be best he's going to finish is a P6. Evil Evo unable to improve. Same with Warbo, so unfortunately Boy Bagum will be... Whoop, stickers. Bit of a half-second penalty to there. He's been a bit naughty. Got Stranger in P8. Doing a very solid drive here, considering he's a Cat 2 driver, filling in for a very proficient Cat 2 driver, I might add, but still punching above his weight here in 1B. Can't quite improve, unfortunately. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our qualifying session run and done. So we will take a quick recap of our qualifying results. thank you to Box of Beauty and Adelaide Ceramic Coatings. There we go, we've got the right screen going this time. Thank you very much. Pushing buttons, more difficult than you might imagine. So on the front row of the grid with the only, well, I was going to say the only driver to go sub 41, but Kiwi Matt manages to drop that clutch lap on the final one there. And he will join Nif on the front row of the grid. Nif with a 140.823. Just 1/10 behind him is Kiwi Matt with a 40.9. Second row of the grid will be occupied by the duo of Corvettes of Evil Evo and Dadson. And third row of the grid is another Corvette in the form of Warbo. Also worth mentioning again that Evil Evo, Dadson, Warbo. Oh no, never mind, they improved their times. That couple of thousands deficit doesn't exist anymore. Gentlemen, you ruined a perfectly good story, but well done on going just that little bit faster. You got Warbo and Boy Bagum on the third row of the grid. Fourth row of the grid will be Stickers and The Stranger. Stickers doing a fantastic job. He's the highest placed Mercedes on the grid tonight. And speaking of which, there is a road train of Mercedes. So as we've got the fifth row of the grid occupied by Danico from Hooncorp and Mr. Bumcrack from Kraken Esports. The sixth row of the grid is Big J from Lightning Motorsport and Armands from Hooncorp. And bringing up the rear of the field tonight is Mr. Greggs in the Hyperdrive SimSports Aston Martin. Whew, that was a fairly solid qualifying session tonight. I kind of miss having a race director to be able to bounce some opinions off. So chat, let me know what you think, and also give me some top 3 predictions if you wouldn't mind. I personally think tyre choice is going to be a critical factor in the race tonight. I mean, obviously car setup and, well, depending on the car and setup, tyre choice may prove to be very, very crucial. As we all know, the soft tyre is an absolutely brilliant tyre in terms of grip, but its lifespan is somewhat questionable in comparison to the medium tyre. And I'm not sure what the tyre wear is exactly like here at Sardegna. I'm not sure at what point the overlap begins between the soft and the medium tyres. So I guess I'm in the dark just as much as everybody watching at home is. So I think we should probably just kick things off without further ado. Otherwise, I'm just going to end up rambling. And I think it's a whole lot better if I'm rambling about the racing action rather than just random things. So we've got a prediction from Aussie Sim Racing that the top 3 is going to be Nif, Matt and Evil Evo, which is pretty much our top 3 on the grid at the moment. So who else we got? Madrick chiming in. Oh, he's being very specific. He has got his teammate Matt in first place. Hashtag no bias. Got second Nif, third place Evil Evo, so reckons his teammate's going to be able to one-up Nif in the race over qualifying. So let's push that giant orange button and get this show on the roads, and we will see whose predictions are correct and whose don't quite turn out to be true. As our countdown timer has reached 0, we have our drivers on the grid. Thanks to Boxer Beauty here, we are at Sardegna. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And they've got green, the hammer has been dropped and everybody is underway. It is a very, very solid start here. Nif not mucking around. Matt as well. He's having to fend off Evil Evo. Looking very, very spicy here at turn 1. Now, playing race director as well as comms guy, I do have to keep an eye on the entire field, so forgive me if there's a little bit of scrolling back here at this point. Just got to check on everyone, but it does look like everyone has made it through turn 1 safely. Nobody is facing the wrong direction. That is brilliant to see. So far, Evil Evo has managed to get the best of Matt at turn 1, it would look like. Managing to take advantage of the inside line along with a absolutely blistering start. So he's managed to make up a spot right off the get-go. Hopefully he can put his head down and use that thundering straight line speed we all know the Corvette has. Be able to catch up to Nif. All looking pretty single file here at the moment. Nothing untoward happening, which is always a pleasure to see. Dadson looking to stick with Warbo. Stickers and Stranger have both made up a position. I think Mr. Boy Bagooms had a little bit of a moment early on in the first lap. He's just dropped a couple of spots. Nothing too terrible. Everyone getting through the first lap relatively unscathed. There might have been a little bit of rubbing shoulders going on, but that is racing. If CP Motorsports still leading there, words are hard, still leading the way in that CP Motorsports Mercedes. Evil Evo though, running with him. He's going to be one of two things at this stage. He's either going to be loving sitting in that big fat slipstream, saving some fuel, or he's going to be hating it because he wants to get by and skip off into the distance. Now, I honestly don't know which one of the two it is. Or I'm inclined to think it's the latter, the way he was looking for some space around the outside of CP there, of NIF there. Didn't quite go to plan. He's just lost a little bit of ground to NIF, and that's brought himself back under fire from Kiwi Matt. Kiwi Matt can't be just eyes ahead at this stage, as he has the dual Corvettes of the Dadson Racing team in the form of Dadson and Warbo right on his back bumper. So definitely can't be all attack. He has to be a little bit defense, as both Matt and Dadson use all of the track and then some coming onto the main straight. Now, just want to check in with the YouTube chat if there's any problems with the audio or whatnot. If you could just pipe up and let me know. I like to think everything's working fine, but it's nice to have you all there to let us know when things are not quite going to plan. Don't think it'll be exactly a cracking battle here between Dadson and Warbo. Being a team owner versus driver, it's either going to be, you know, you're my driver, you're faster than me, off you go, I'm holding you up, or there will be some team orders. Yeah, we'll see how that one plays out, but I don't think they're going to be, I don't think they'll go fighting over it all, but what they are fighting over is Dadson and Kiwi Matt. Thought they were going to be running side by side into this third sector here at Sardegna, which, I mean, is possible, but ooh, that's brave. It's quite a tight, almost one line. You could run too wide, but geez, you both need to be willing and aware of what's going on. Geez, they love using all of the track and then some. Stickers in the Lightning Motorsport Mercedes got himself up into a P6. He's having a very solid race. He was looking good in practice tonight. Very, very quick. I do feel that a few of the drivers might have just been keeping their cards quite close to their chest in the earlier practice sessions. Stranger in P7 still. Still holding his own against Boy Bagum in P8. Now we have seen Boy Bagum be very, very good on tyres and also be a bit, on fuel, and he's a bit of a tyre whisperer himself, so this battle here between Stranger and Boy Bagum could be the battle of the tyre whisperers, because in my own experience, the Stranger has been an absolute miracle worker when it comes to the front tyres on that Corvette. Able to do things that I really can't explain. Genuinely don't know how he does it, but full credit to him. Checking in. There's a couple of little groups here forming in the field tonight. We've got this little pack here in the form of Mr. Bumcrack, Danico and Big J, who I would have thought would have been a little bit further up the grid, but maybe this track is not quite to his liking. I remember a couple of seasons ago in the Renault Megane Trophy Series, we were at, I think it was Sardegna B Reverse? Was it C Reverse? He had an absolutely cracking battle with, I believe it was Revs. For multiple laps at this track, so maybe that is his preferred Sardegna layout. He is right on the back of Boy Bagum, who has not had a great run here tonight. He's down into 9th, overtaken by Mr. Bumcrack, and he is cutting under fire now from the Hooncorp SLS of Danico as they go too wide into the run up towards the church. Danico has the inside for this tight left-hander. Who's got the... Oh no, Danico backs out of that. It appears Boy Bagum has the bigger set of the proverbial in this instance. And I've just noticed a bit of a changing of the guard further up the field. Not sure what's happened here, but Evil Evo is into the lead. He's gotten his way past Niff as I've been checking in down the back. Also, Dadson's up into 3rd, and Warbo in 4th, and ooh, big drama here with Kiwi Matt back down into 5th. I do feel like something big has happened here. Sensing Kiwi Matt would have had a bit of a moment. Unfortunately, with it just being me in the comms box at this stage, I don't have a race director to tell me to look over here or check on this, so we'll just have a look at Kiwi Matt's lap times. He's been running in the 42s. And he's still running in the 42s. So I don't think he's had a massive moment anywhere. I think he might have just had a little one and the guys have gotten past. You know what? We're on lap 6, and since I'm running solo tonight, I'm trying to do everything possible. So what we are going to do is we are going to go to a tyre and fuel update, so everybody at home can get an idea of what's going on in terms of tyre compounds and fuel situation, and also so I have half an idea what's going on too, because that would normally be the information available to our race director. So seeing as that is also me, it's far away. Thanks to APR Automotive, we now have all of the information available to us. Now, unfortunately, right, we see Evil Evo currently in 1st is sitting on roughly, let's call it 65% fuel, currently 2/10 purple on the racing soft tyres, and as you can see they're only a little bit worn, maybe about 15%. Got Niff also on the racing soft tyres, has the advantage in terms of fuel. He's probably closer to 70%, but that front right tyre is noticeably more worn. So he could be a little bit compromised a few laps further down the track, as he does have Dadson hot on his heels, also on the racing soft tyres. Slightly worse off in terms of tyre wear compared to Evil Evo. Probably on about 20% worn and getting down to about 55% fuel left in the tank. His teammate is pretty much identical in terms of tyre wear, but probably has a slight fuel advantage, courtesy of being able to sit in your team owner's slipstream, I would imagine. Hey, if you're not allowed to overtake him, may as well save some fuel and just jump him in the pits. Then we've got Kiwi Matt on the racing mediums. Okay, so the first of our medium tyre runner. He's on about 55% fuel and about touch over 10% wear on the front right tyre of his Jaguar. And we've got Stickers in 6, also back to the racing soft tyres. Pretty much bang on half a tank of fuel and probably about 20% worn on those soft tyres. 7th, we've got the Stranger, pretty much exactly half a tank of fuel, and he's looking pretty good with about bit over 20% wear on those racing soft tyres on the Doghouse Corvette. In 8th, we've got Mr. Bumcrack in the Kraken Esports Mercedes on the racing soft tyres, bang on half a tank of fuel, doing very well relatively on the tyres, probably about 15-20% worn. Boy Bagum he's having a bit of a backward run tonight, so we skip back up to Big J, who has just pulled an overtaking manoeuvre in the 2nd sector, moving himself up into 9th. He's on the racing soft tyres, probably about 20% worn, bang on half a tank of fuel. Boy Bagum also identical on the fuel, but looking very, very good on the racing medium tyres, so that could explain the slightly backwards movement against the racing soft tyre equipped cars that have managed to get their way past. He's looking very healthy though. It's just under 10% wear, which is pretty good considering he's done 7 laps. In the 11th, we've got Danico and the racing softs, just under half a tank of fuel, about 20% worn on those front tyres. Mr. Armans, he is having a bad day at the office when it comes to tyre wear. He's about 45% fuel left in the tank, but that Hooncorp Mercedes is absolutely smashing that front right tyre, as you can see. That is pretty much 60% worn, so it's a bad day to be a front right tyre if you're on that Hooncorp Mercedes. And last but not least, we've got Mr. Greggs on the racing medium tyre. He's just hit the half tank point on the Aston Martin, which is actually pretty good considering it can be quite a thirsty beast. And he's looking very good for tyre wear with about 10% gone on those racing mediums. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our tyre and fuel update brought to you by APR Automotive. You are in safe hands. Now if I can push the right button and we can get back to the racing as Evil Evo is dropping the hammer and has just set the fastest lap of the race with a 1:42.003. He is not mucking around. He is wanting to bugger off into the distance by the looks of it. He is 3.4 seconds up on Nif, who, wow, that gap grew quite significantly while we were at the tyre and fuel update. And Nif is now coming under fire from a host of angry Corvettes and an angry Jaguar. Well, there was 3 of them. It's alright, ladies and gentlemen, I've put my glasses back on. I can see there's 2 Corvettes and a Jag hunting down a Mercedes. I love multi-manufacturer racing. Really keeps you on your toes to be able to take advantage of the strengths and the weaknesses of different cars at different tracks. Nif getting very, very defensive here from Dadson, who's he's done a little bit of reenacting his sponsor Momi now by running wide onto the grass there. That's, I think his teammate Warbo followed suit as well, and that's allowed Kiwi Matt to make his way back on past, up into 4th. And that is going to drop Matt right into the slipstream of Dadson, and I think we might just jump on board for this. Dadson going defensive down the very long straight here. Forces Matt to the outside. Oh, great defensive work there from Dadson. Goes deep. Oh, we're 3 wide on the exit of turn 1 here. Gentlemen, look after yourselves. Oh, that is a brilliant racing. We are going to definitely have a look at that on our LJ Media action replay. If I can remember to push the right button. Rightio, let's punch that replay and have a look at that beautiful move there from Matt into turn 1. No, we will not be doing that, says the action replay. Unfortunately, sorry. Oh. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you saw it the first time around, but that was absolutely brilliant. As he runs a little bit wide there, this could leave him under fire. There's been a little bit of breathing room there for Nif. I reckon he'd be loving that, because I don't think his front tyres will be loving life about now, because we are on lap 10. We are getting close to 50% of the race distance, so closing in on the expected pit window, which is the end of lap 13. Checking in with Evil Evo, he is, yep, he's buggering off, to put it mildly. Is a 4.5, let's just call it 4.5 seconds up on Nif at the moment. Once he found his way past the CP Mercedes, yep, he's. I don't think sitting in the slipstream and saving fuel was on the agenda. Kiwi Matt for Black Rose with a lovely little recovery there from his earlier positions drop. Got himself back into a solid 3rd. Orbo has committed the indiscretion of overtaking his team owner. But if your team owner runs wide and loses speed, you're not going to lift off. You're just going to sail on past, so fair's fair. Dadson P5. Stickers still there or thereabouts in P6. Good evening to Adelaide Ceramic Coatings in the chat. Pleasure to have one of our sponsors on board. Hope you're having a good evening, enjoying the racing action here tonight. Hopefully the replay ability of the comms team, me, will improve. As Stickers has got himself up into 4th. There's been... what? Hang on. I was paying attention to the YouTube chat. I think I need to have a little bit of a look-see here. What happened there? Dadson was looking to pile some pressure onto Stickers into turn 1. Stickers manages to hold him off. Dadson, oh, there's a little bit of a touch there. I was about to say Dadson piling on the pressure. Just got a bit eager, gave Stickers a little touch, lifted off. Well played. Unfortunately, and Matt's back down into 6. What is going on here? You take your eyes off the action for half a second and everyone's changing 2 or 3 positions. Alright, let's see if we can catch that on our LJ Media action replay. What happened? Nope. Yeah, look. Sorry, I can't help you. Unfortunately, I am having an inability to do replays tonight. My apologies. I reckon we're going to have to try and intercept some Black Rose Racing team radio calls and work out what's going on there. So Kiwi Matt back down to 7th. Stickers McQueen definitely being a mover and a shaker here tonight. He's up into P4. Big J also doing well. The Lightning boys, not with the strongest start on the grid, but definitely got some rapid race pace. Big J up into P7. Absolutely fantastic job so far. Plumber in 8th. Strangers dropped down a spot or two, down to P9, still holding his own very, very well. Got Boy Bagum for company. And quite a gap back to Danico, who's got a fair bit of space between himself and his teammate Armands. And quite a fair bit of space back to Greg's in 13th. Now Niff doing a commendable job here in 2nd. He's managing to hold off Warbo. But you kind of get the feeling it's only a matter of time before that Datsun Corvette manages to find a weak spot in Niff's defense. As we see our top 4, here we go, there's a spicy one for you. Kiwi Matt running long. He's the first of our longer runners. Now, if I recall correctly, Matt is on the medium tyres, so he might be looking to go an extra couple of laps and then pitting to chuck on some fresh softs and being able to go absolutely hammer and tong to the end without burning them out. So that is my prediction. As we've also got his teammate, Mr. Boy Bagum, who's running again, P2 to P2. Jeez. Now, Evil Evo comes out in 5th. Now, you remember that gap that was about 5.5, 6 seconds between Evil Evo and Niff. That is down to 1 second flat now due to I'm going to boldly predict that is due to it being in the fuel consumption difference between a Corvette and a Mercedes. I anticipate that Corvette is a very, very thirsty beast, and Niff is also actually fairly handy at saving some fuel. So I would anticipate that Niff has been able to make up that time by having more fuel jumping into the pits and also being able to possibly chuck a little bit less in the tank while he's there. And at 4 litres a second refuel rate, that does result in quite a significant saving. Jumping back up to the front, Kiwi Matt has to pit this lap, as does his teammate. Probably could have gone around again with 7%. As Danico comes into the pits as well, 2% left in the tank. Well, we've got a blue flag situation here. Well, not actually a blue flag, technically speaking. As it stands, Greg's is 4th on the road, but given that he has yet to pit and the guys right behind him have already pit, it would probably be in his best interest to just move aside and let him go on through. I mean, you're here for team points only. See how this plays out. Got Evil Evo and Niff coming in hot. He does pull over to the inside, just lifts off a little bit. Well played there, Greggs. Knows that that's not his battle. And he just get it all done with nobody losing a huge amount of time. Well played. So in a provisional third, we've got Warbo, who has managed to extend a little bit of time out over his team owner Dadson, who has dropped back to provisional 6. Mr. Stickers just quietly up into what is effectively 4th, leading the way over Kiwi Matt, who is in 5th after that longer run. And we'll just give it another lap or two, let the tyres get some heat into them, and we'll take another tyre and fuel update. And we will have a look and see who is on what compound for the second half of this race. Dadson down to 6th. Alright, Greggs is going to be into the pits now, so our driver standings will correct themselves in terms of what they're in is their actual position on track. So Dadson currently sitting in 6th. Some gaps have really started to form after that pit stop. So the fuel saving scenario of different drivers in their different cars has certainly reared its head, as I'm just spotting a cracking little duel here with Boy Bagoom managing to get himself up into 8th place after that pit stop. So the running long strategy has certainly paid off a little bit for him. He's got himself right onto the back of Big J. And from the body language of the car, he is definitely looking for a way past. He does not want to sit here in the slipstream. Sends it down the inside. Whoa, does he? He goes very deep. Big J with the cutback. Says, yep, nice try. I'll have that back, thank you very much. Holds on to 7th place for now. But Boy Bagoom's intentions are definitely very clear at this stage, so I think it's only a matter of time before he comes under fire again. And I would anticipate with this big long front straight we will see another overtaking manoeuvre in the braking zone of turn 1. Boy Bagum with a good run out onto the main straight. Oh, Big J with a better run. He might just be able to hold on to this. He does. Big J with an absolutely blistering run down that main straight there. Even in the slipstream, Boy Bagum could not make ground on him. Quick check in on the... Oh, hello. That gap between Nif and Evil Evo, still less than a second. So at this stage, Evil Evo is not buggering off into the distance like he did in the first stint. There you go. There he is. Mr. Warbo, currently in 3rd. Holding on to a 1.7 second lead over Kiwi Matt. He's also bringing Stickers along for the ride. Warbo can't afford to take his concentration off. He's got to keep going hard because otherwise he could be under fire for his current 3rd position. Dadson in a little bit of open air at the moment. He's got some work to do to catch up to Stickers. It's 2.2 seconds down. He's got a very healthy margin back to Big J in 7th. Stranger back up to 8th. Very solid drive. Boy Bagoom has done a whoopsie there. He's 3 seconds down on his lap time. That explains why he's back down to P9. He's not on the back of Big J anymore. He's probably had a little bit of a moment there trying to get past. Damn it, missed that. Got to be careful because he'll have the plumber all over the back of him. It's not 9 o'clock, so I've got to be careful what I say. Yes, I'm aware there is many jokes to be had there. Can't touch a single one of them. Evo still leading the way. He's managed to get that lead up to a second. I think what we will do is we will cut to that APR tyre and fuel update so we can see what's going on in terms of fuel and tyres for this second part of the race. Pushing the right button, so we've got currently in the lead from Doghouse Motorsport is Mr. Evil Evo. He is on the racing soft tyre, probably about 60% fuel in the tank, about 10% wear on that front right, which is the all-important tyre here at Sardegna. Also on the racing softs and bang on half a tank of fuel is Mr. Niff. He's probably short-fueled himself a little bit to try and bridge that gap, possibly compromising himself, but that remains to be seen. What will be compromising him is that front right tyre of the racing soft. As you can see, it's already getting quite close to 20% worn. Got Warbo just over half a tank of fuel, also on the racing softs, about 15% wear. Kiwi Matt opting for the racing soft in his second stint and just over half a tank of fuel. Looking very good on the tyre wear. He's probably only about less than 15% done. Fifth place, we've got Stickers, just over half a tank of fuel. So that seems to be the margin to be good to go to the end. He's also on the racing softs, about 10% worn. Got Dadson on about 55% fuel. Being very hard on those racing softs on the front of that Corvette. They are probably about 30% worn at this stage. Big J, again, racing soft, just over half a tank of fuel, about 20% wear. And to be honest, it's a fairly identical situation as we go down the grid. 5 to 10% fuel here or there. We've got Armans here again. Hooncorp deciding that they have paid for the whole tyre, that they will be using the whole tyre. Can't fault that logic. Oh, there's been a bit of a moment down the back there. Not sure what happened there for the stranger, but lap 18 with a 2:25. Why do I sense that there may have been a pit stop involved? Interesting. Not quite sure what to make of that. We'll have to tune into the post-race debrief for that one, but thanks to APR Automotive, that is our tyre and fuel update. Alright, back up the front we have Evil Evo, still on about 1 second, 1.1 over Niff, so he's managed to work out a couple of tenths, but he definitely cannot take his foot off the throttle. He can't afford to relax at this point, as we are coming to the end of lap 20, so 6 and a bit laps to go. Also a very interesting wind situation here at Sardegna. It's blowing from the southwest at a fairly rapid rate of 5.8 meters a second, so that will definitely make the third sector of this track very, very interesting in terms of trying to take the corner and not being pushed wide. The fastest lap of the race at the moment currently held by our third place driver, Mr. Kiwi Matt, with a 1:41.429, which is fairly close to what they were dropping in qualifying. So Very, very quick race pace here. And by the way, speaking of which, third place, he has moved himself up past Warbo. So looking at the lap times, fairly solid from Warbo, just starting to drop off a little bit there on lap 20 with a 1:43. Whereas Kiwi Matt's been dropping 41s and just had a 42 there, so maybe the slightly longer stint on the mediums and before dropping onto the softs are paying a little bit of dividends for Matt here. He's got himself up into third, but he's still got Warbo in his slipstream, so he can't exactly afford to relax at this stage. 0 out of 10, would not recommend doing that. And to be honest, neither of them can relax too much because they still do have stickers lurking in the background. He's just over 1 second behind. So if either Matt or Warbo put a foot wrong, stickers will be there to say g'day, and I'm going to take advantage of this situation. Big question in the chat from our sponsor at Adelaide Ceramic Coatings: medium soft strategy is not a bad idea. Definitely, definitely. Is there any rain predicted for today's race? No, there is no rain predicted for today's race here at Sardegna. Skies are looking a little bit cloudy, but there's plenty of blue in there, so I don't think we're going to be seeing any precipitation today. Dadson still doing a solid job here in P6. It's 3.7 seconds up on Big J. Boybacum, P8. Bit of an up and down race for him. Made up some spots and then dropped a couple of spots, made up some spots. Bit topsy-turvy for the poor fella. Just a bum crack, P9. Possibly being a bit of a rough day at the office for the plumber. He's got to keep an eye on his rear view mirror because he's got Danico still lurking in P10, 1.6 behind. Checking back in with the stranger, I do want to have a look at his telemetry real quick. He didn't pit for tyres, maybe he didn't have enough fuel on board, and that's why we saw a second pit stop on lap 18. Not quite sure what was going on there, so definitely going to have a chat with him after the race. Back up the front, Evil Evo, still 1.1 seconds to the good. Managing to hold on to it for now over Nif. Just because I can, I want to look at the fuel situation between these two. Alright, so Evil Evo, bang on quarter of a tank. Looking pretty good there. Just under a quarter of a tank is Nif. But as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, the tyre difference, not as bad as I would have thought, actually. Evil Evo's probably about 55-60% worn on that front right, whereas Nif is definitely more towards the 65-70% worn mark. So 3.5 laps to go. I dare say that last lap for Nif will be an exercise in caution when it comes to cornering, I would imagine. Kiwi Matt in a very well earned third position right now. 7.3 seconds off the back of Nif, so probably not likely to make it further up, but he is 1.4 seconds up on Warbo, so he can just keep his head down, keep putting in some fairly solid laps like he has been. He will retain his spot on the podium on the finish of this race tonight, but definitely don't go counting your chickens before they hatch, ladies and gentlemen, because Warbo is only 1.2 behind. And he does have stickers. Well, he's managed to crack out a little more of a gap to stickers. That is now at the 2-second mark. Stickers also with a great drive tonight. Made his way through the field and up into P5 after starting. Oh, we're testing my memory here. P8, P9? Thereabouts. Dadson in a P6, looking fairly comfortable. He's got 4 seconds to stickers in front of him, and he's got 3.5 seconds to Boy Bagoom behind him. Someone who's not particularly comfortable right now is Mr. Boy Bagoom, who is in 7th, but he does have a bumper sticker in the form of Big J in the Lightning Motorsport Mercedes, so Boy Bagoom definitely cannot afford to relax right now. And also worth noting, he is the current fastest lap holder with a 1:41.412, which he dropped a couple of laps ago on lap 21. So very enthusiastically stealing the fastest lap extra point from his teammate as he runs a little bit wide there. That crosswind I mentioned earlier, making things interesting in the final sector, possibly coming into play. And that will definitely leave him vulnerable to Big J down this long front straight. Is Big J going to make the move on him into the braking zone of turn 1? Boy Bagoom goes very defensive. Big J right out on the ripple strip, around the outside, makes it work, all kinds of squirrely. Still side by side, oh no. Big J's gotten out of it. Probably the smart move there, I would say. But he's definitely keeping the pressure on the Black Rose driver. Not going to make it easy for him. Boy Bagoom is going to have to earn every little bit of that 7th position. On the second last lap, whoa, was there a little bit of a touch there? I think there might have just been a little accidental tap there from Big J on Boy Bagoom in the braking zone. Big J just lifting off there to redress the situation. Well played. Oh, Boy Bagoom going wide again. That crosswind is proving absolute havoc for the Black Rose Jag. Oh, side by side through that corner, gentlemen. Would not recommend. Big J makes the job work though, around the outside. Nothing Boy Bagoom could do there but give him space. Now as we come down the main straight into turn 1 for the final time, can Boy Bagoom put a send on Big J? Can he make it happen? I don't think he's close enough. Right, so Big J hangs on to 7th for now. As we've got to give some camera time back to the man up front, Mr. Evil Evo from Doghouse Motorsport. He's run a very, very clinical race tonight, taking advantage of what appears to be a very good setup in the Doghouse Corvette. Certainly put in the practice for the race tonight. He's got the lead out to 2 seconds over Niff, whose second place here tonight is also nothing to be sneezed at. A very, very solid result. Kiwi Matt looking like he might just be able to hang on to that final step on the podium. Back up the front. Coming on to the main straight for the final time. Ladies and gentlemen, your Category 1B Round 6 race winner, Mr. Evil Evo. Well done, mate. Flash of the lights, very happy there. Nif, very, very well played. P2, Kiwi Matt, hard fought, 3rd position. Warbo, well done on a 4th. Stickers, great work on 5th. Dadson, I'm running out of that descriptive words, but definitely well played for P6. Mr. Bumcrack has made up a couple of spots in the final stages of that race to bring home P7. Boy Bagum hangs on to P8 over Big J. I think there might have been a coming together of Big J and Boy Bagum there, which has allowed the plumber past. Danico finishing P10. We're going to have a little bit of a look at me time for Armands in the Hooncorp Mercedes. Coming down the main straight, bringing home P11. Got the Stranger for teams points tonight. Doghouse Corvette bringing home P12. Our final driver on track tonight is Mr. Greggs for Hyperdrive Sim Sports in the Aston Martin, also for team points. And that, ladies and gentlemen, thanks to Boxer Beauty, is our Category 1B race run and done. Rightio, so let's have a quick recap of our race results, and if, ladies and gentlemen in the chat, if you could pop in your predictions for the driver of the day, that would be very much appreciated. Right, pushing all the buttons, having a good time. Right, our race winner tonight for Doghouse Motorsports is Evil Evo, with a sensational result. Not the fastest lap though, that's a little bit further down the field. Second place on the podium for CP Motorsports is Nif in the Mercedes SLS. Final spot on the podium is occupied by the Black Rose driver of Kiwi Matt in the Jaguar F-Type. Fourth place is Warbo for Dadson Racing in the Dadson Corvette. Fifth place, Stickers in the Lightning Motorsport Mercedes. Sixth place, Dadson in the Dadson Racing Corvette. Seventh place, Mr. Bumcrack in the Kraken Esports Mercedes SLS. In eighth place for Black Rose Racing and the holder of the fastest lap of a 141.412. Just pipping his teammate by 200s, less than 200s, is Mr. Boy Bagum. In P9 we've got Big J for Lightning Motorsport in the Mercedes SLS. Danico also in a Mercedes SLS for Hooncorp with his Hooncorp teammate Mr. Armands in P11. P12 a Stranger for Doghouse in the Corvette, and Greggs in the Hyperdrive Sim Sports Aston Martin Vantage. Rightio, I've got to take a breath here for a second. That'll give me some time to check the YouTube chat for the Driver of the Day nominations. The Driver of the Day for NIF. Mr. Adelaide Ceramic Coatings, any race finished is better than never racing at all. 100% definitely on that. Well, actually, I might, with my race last week, I might contest that statement, but 99% of the time, then yes, I definitely agree with you, Mr. Adelaide Ceramics. Driver of the Day, Evil Evo from Deborah Fish. So, got one for Evil Evo, we've got one for NIF. Another one for NIF from Renegade. A few more to come in. Look, since I'm double dutying here, I can still only have one one nomination for Driver of the Day. While I'm usually against giving it to the leader, the winner, I'm actually going to drop my nomination for Driver of the Day to Mr. Evil Evo. Certainly couldn't quite get the fastest lap in qualifying, but definitely made up for that in terms of race pace and race strategy. So made it work and brought home the chocolates in fairly solid and convincing fashion. So definitely worthy of my Driver of the Day nomination. Now I guess that leaves us with a bit of a tie with 2 to Nif and 2 to Evil Evo. So I guess the next person in the chat with a Driver of the Day nomination for either of them will determine the winner. So ladies and gentlemen, punch it, let's go. Alright, anybody? Alright, there we go. We've got from Adelaide Ceramic Coatings, Evil getting into first place and holding the position to the end is pretty good idea for a Driver of the Day. So there we go. There is our tiebreaker. Mr. Evil Evo is our Driver of the Day tonight. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for sticking with us through race 1. We're going to take a very short intermission, so have yourselves a toilet break, grab some snacks, grab some drinks, get your favourite cuddly toy, possibly a blanket, and make yourselves comfy because we will be right back for the Category 1A race. And if you think these guys were quick tonight, I've kind of got the feeling we ain't seen nothing yet. So we will be back soon. Don't go away.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Sector 1. We are here tonight for some Category 1 racing action around all states villages.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning, and this is just the beginning. I need a big change, help me feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all. And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've managed to do everything that you need to do in the short intermission. Now, I have managed to do a little bit of radio interception and managed to get onto the horn with the Doghouse Motorsport team, and unfortunately there were some electrical gremlins in the Doghouse Motorsport Corvette of the Stranger. I had the unfortunate situation of his steering wheel deciding I don't want to operate as a steering wheel anymore. I identify as a brick, which is a bit unfortunate for him. So, not the most ideal results, but it was just for team points, so a bit of a hit there, but not a massive drama for him in terms of his championship, which I'm sure we will see more of in a couple of weeks' time. Given that we have a week's break before our Category 2 race due to Mother's Day, so in advance, a very happy Mother's Day to all of the female parental units out there. Speaking of which, I should probably call my own mother. Not right now, obviously, but sometime in the very near future. Rightio, so let's have a quick recap over our points for Group A here tonight. So, currently leading the championship with a fairly healthy margin is Mr. Geesh for CP Motorsports on 186.5. Being very, very sneaky indeed is Mr. Sneaky Stevo for Jamco Racing on 136 points in second place. Third place still is my boy Ricky Bobby for APR Motorsports on 126 points. Fourth place, we've got Tim Durags for Blacklight Motorsport on 118.5, so he's looking for a very solid result this season, but at the moment he is the meat in an APR sandwich with my other boy Lenosis in P5 on 114.5. In sixth, we've got Mr. Sways for Brocchio 5 Sim Racing on 110 points. Hopefully he can find the pit lane entry tonight and secure himself a decent result, because he just has a narrow lead over his team owner, Mr. Brocchio 5 on 106.5, who will unfortunately be absent from the field tonight due to some in real life things taking a priority. Unfortunately, sim racing, while we all love it, unfortunately there are sometimes just things that you need to go and do and instead, which we completely understand and support. We've got in 8th is the Thunder Motorsport team owner, Mr. Artsy on 101.5 points, with E-Bulk from Hyperdrive in 9th on 95.5 points. We've got Mr. Mountain Goat for Zero Turn in 10th on 90.5, just holding off his teammate, Mr. Captain Muffin on 89 points. Got Dale Teeks in 12th for Kraken Esports on 83.5. Mr. GTR having a very quiet season indeed in 13th, and I also believe that he is absent from the field tonight and is being filled in for by his teammate Mr. Boss GT. Be good to see some team points being racked up there for Blacklight Motorsport. And rounding out our Group A field is Mr. Heafy from Thunder Motorsport on 80 points. So joining me in the comms box tonight is none other than me. No, surprise! We do actually have a race director who is not the streamer tonight. So I would like to welcome to the comms box none other than Mr. Renegade. How are we this evening?
Good evening, Carbon Boy. Thanks for that rather humorous intro there. Glad to be here tonight. See what the cream of the crop, you could say, in Australian and New Zealand esports drivers on tonight. See what they can do.
Not gonna lie, it's nice to have some company in here. It sort of feels like I was talking to myself a bit more than what could be considered healthy
Normal.
In that previous race. So nice to have someone else here.
My pleasure. Well, as I said, always happy to see what these drivers can do.
So what do you say? We kick qualifying in the guts, get things going, and we won't leave the people in the chat waiting.
So I'll just let these boys know that we're starting soon.
I'm receiving
Give them
orders
about 30
from our
seconds.
Receiving orders from our sponsor to tell me that I'm supposed to be calling my mother now. I'm not sure if all of Australia wants to hear, or all of YouTube wants to hear that conversation. It'll be probably her yelling at me because I haven't called her in quite some time, so I'd rather keep that conversation off the internet. But it is a pleasure to have all of you here watching the stream at the moment, and if all of you could of course hit the like button, that would certainly help the algorithm quite nicely for us as our drivers are in the pit lane and our qualifying session is going to be underway. Thanks to APR Automotive, we've got Category 1A qualifying on the go. No, that is definitely not first out on track. Now, I should remember from...
First out, I believe we have Artsy.
Now, before anyone mentions it, yes, the cars were very quiet there for the first bit. That's okay. We should have audio of the cars now. If we don't, please let me know.
I can hear it.
Excellent, that's what I like to hear. Alright, so first out on track, now that we've gone through the first timing sector, we've got the Thunder Motorsports team owner, Mr. Thunder Artsy, in the gorgeous pink and black Jaguar. And second on track in the beautiful purple and yellow Corvette, we have Captain Muffin. Good to see him back on the grid tonight. Will we see an alternate strategy? Or will he play nice tonight? That will remain to be seen. We've got the second of the pink and black Thunder Motorsport cars of Heafy as Captain Muffin playing Captain Lawnmower. Now, we noticed in the earlier race we had the wind blowing from the southwest at nearly 6 meters a second. We've got the same wind direction here at the moment, just a little bit less at 4.3 meters a second, so definitely going to make that third sector quite tough. We've got the TMR sponsored Jag for Blacklight, driven by Tinder Rags, fourth on the track. Good to see back on the grid tonight is Mr. Dale Teeks for Kraken Esports in the Mercedes. Mr. Shake and Bake himself without the black wheels, actually. He's got silver wheels on tonight, so a bit of a change of flavour for Ricky Bobby in the APR Jaguar. Closely followed by his teammate Lenosis, also running silver wheels, so interesting scenario. It's going to have to be up to me to bring some colour back to the wheels of the APR Motorsport stable next week, 2 weeks' time. We've got our championship leader lurking behind. Looking very, very ominous at the moment is Mr. Geesh in the CP Motorsports Mercedes. We've got the second blacklight car occupied by the boss.
Just receiving news on the YouTube stream as well. But apparently you sound very relieved to have someone else in the comms box with you here, Carbon.
Oh, it certainly helps take the pressure off a bit, but the boss does have Sways for company as Sways sends it down the inside. Now this is a qualifying lap, so definitely wants to not be held up. Got Sneaky Stevo in the Jamco Racing Jaguar as he runs wide, smacks the wall, so we'll just take the camera off him. Sorry about that, Stevo, but people love to see it. Got Sways, and bringing up the rear of the field is Mr. Ebolk in 12th, as Captain Muffin is the first cab off the ranks, dropping a 140.49. Just holding out Mr. Geesh, who's brought it in to second place with a 140.5. Narrowly pipping, well, not narrowly, let's be honest, it's half a second.
Now, what was the pole qualifying time in the 1B race?
I think it was around the 140.8 mark, so
we're not far off that.
Nearly half a second faster than that already.
Yeah, I have no words.
Yeah, it certainly puts things into perspective for me, just exactly where I'm at in terms of driving ability, and I'm okay with that. I made peace with that a long time ago.
I think it puts a lot of us in our place.
100%. You think you're fast, and then you watch these guys, and it's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah, maybe not.
My boy Lenosis is up into third place with a 141 flat, pretty much, just holding off Tim DeRags, as he is 2.5 tenths up on his best time, so he could be looking to go into the 140s, as I will take the camera off him so we don't get the commentator's curse going. Just welcoming my team owner into the YouTube chat. Nice to have you here, Mr. Prisky. Well called by Adelaide Ceramic Coatings. Captain Muffin is actually playing Farming Simulator.
As we see Muffin and several cars all entering pit lane. Geesh, Heafy, Thunder Artsy are all in the pits.
Theo Lenosis has managed to improve. He's dropped into the 140s with a 40.792. Does not improve his position, but he does manage to hold off Tim DeRags, who is a 141.1 at the moment in P4. Efi looking very threatening, P5. He's just 100th behind Tim DeRags at the moment. Just a couple of hundredths up on his team owner, who is on an outlap. So we'll let those tyres warm up. Dale Teagues currently sitting P7.
Between Heafy and DeRags, that is close.
Just want to see how Dale Teagues is tracking this lap as he approaches the end of the second sector. Got to be really careful getting on the power there out of that left-hander. Too early and you will be, oh no, he's 5.5 seconds down, so probably going to see a pit lap from him. Speaking of pit lap, Mr. Sways, nice to see he appears to have gotten in and out of the pits without any incidents. Well done, Mr. Sways. Love your work. A little bit further down the field is Mr. Ricky Bobby. Not having a strong start to the night. There, doing a 142.5. Not able to improve. Currently in P9. But we'll just jump on board, I think, for a quick lap with Captain Muffin, who's currently our fastest lap holder, as he's done his out lap and he's now on a hot lap. Banging down through the gears into turn 1. On the power nice and early. Up through the gears, through the sweeping lefts and rights. I don't have corner names, I'm just going to call it as I see it.
Sneaky Stevo improves his position, moves himself up to 8th with a 41.5.
Muffin looking good here, coming up towards the church. He is 1.17 purple. Little bit of oversteer there. Doesn't hit the wall. That might just cost him though. He's only a tenth up on Geesh at the moment, so he needs every little bit of speed he can get.
I have to say that is one of my favourite camera views when spectating, this inside the cockpit like that.
Ah, it's beautiful. You can see what the driver's doing, you get a nice look at their race suit.
And it's not a still
he's still
camera,
purple.
dude. Like
He's 400s up still.
With it.
Can he hold on to this? Can he improve his time? And why do I have the feeling that Geesh is sitting on a 140 flat and he's just not telling anybody yet? But that right there, ladies and gentlemen, does Muffin hold it flat through the final corner? Oh, there was a tiny safety lift, but the smallest. And he improves 1.5 tenths. He's dropped a 140.260. What can Geesh do in return? A 140.8. So maybe in terms of outright pace, Corvette has it over the Mercedes here at Sardegna. But we all know how Captain Muffin goes with tyre wear, and Geesh is...
Oh! There's a bit of argy-bargy between Artsy.
Sways has gotten himself up into P4. Very solid qualifying so far from him. He's knocked Heathy and Tim Durags a couple of spots down the starting grid.
We're on to the first of our finishes.
As he rounds the final corner, will he improve? A little bit of taking the mickey there with the track limits, but that's all good. It looks pretty good. He does improve. It's only a small one, but he does hold on to P3 for now.
Ricky Bobby improves his time.
Oh, Sways bins it coming out of that final sector. I think that crosswind is going to be a factor. It has picked up to over 5 meters a second. So Sways will not improve. Eefy's locked down P5. Tim Durags P6. RC's looking like... Let's see how Sneaky Steve-O goes. Can he improve on his time? No, he's not going to. That is a bit unfortunate. So, as we wait for the timer to run down,
puts the boss back puts the boss behind him now, so he improves up to P11 from Ebok.
Radio. So that is our qualifying session run and done. So let's have a
Get these screenshots of that.
Let's have a little quick recap of the qualifying results. Thanks to Adelaide Ceramic Coatings. Cheeky plug for the sponsor who's in the chat and listening. Got to keep them happy. Rightio, on the front row of the grid with the fastest lap of a 140.260, so we are banging on the door of a 39. Is a Captain Muffin for Zero Turn Motorsport in that beautiful Corvette. Joining him on the front row, our championship leader so far, Geesh in the CP Motorsports Mercedes. Second row of the grid is my boy Lenosis in the APR Jag F-Type, joined by Sways AU in the Brocky 05 Mercedes. Third row of the grid we have Heafy in the Thunder Jag, joined by the Black Light, not Black Rose, forgive me good doc, the Black Light Jaguar of Tim Durags. And the fourth row of the grid we've got Thunder Artsy in the Thunder Jag and a Sneaky Steve-O in the Janko Jag. Fifth row of the grid we've got Dale Teeks in the Kraken Esports Mercedes with my boy Ricky Bobby in the APR Jag. And on the 6th row of the grid is Mr. E-Bulk in the Hyperdrive Aston, joined by the Boss in the 2nd of the Blacklight Motorsports Jaguars. So, ladies and gentlemen, in the chat, please throw in your top 3 prediction for the race here tonight. Mr. Renegade, what are your thoughts on that qualifying session?
Some pretty rapid times there. It's like you said as well. The Corvette top speed. That's going to be the telling factor for there. But I mean, it's a 26 lap race. There's a strong crosswind. Anything can happen, as we saw in the 1B race.
I certainly feel that crosswind is going to be a massive factor in the second sector of this track, as we saw in qualifying, with quite a few drivers running wide and collecting the wall and doing the proverbial 540 no-scope. A bit unfortunate to see, but you know, that's racing when you're really pushing for those quali laps. But what do you say we get this race underway and we see what these guys can do when the real when it gets real. I'll leave it at that. Words are hard.
When it matters.
Yes, that's what I'm looking for. Thank you very much. This is why I love having a second person in the comms box.
All right, let's get these boys underway.
Bold prediction from Adelaide Ceramic Coatings. Lenosis and Muffin finish on the podium. I like it. I like it.
I've got a sneaky feeling that one of these boys are hiding a 39 somewhere.
A race 39. Now that would definitely be worth the price of admission to see. When the price of admission is free, we'll just leave it at that, as we have 5 lights. And they're green and everybody is underway. A very hot start there from Geesh. But it's also looking very spicy for Lenosis. At the moment, he's having a cracking battle with Sways as Muffin has... Oh, look at this, turn 1, 3 wide. Well done, gentlemen.
And everyone gets through clean.
Well done, gentlemen. As Lenosis is putting the pressure on Geesh very early. He wants to go around the outside, which will become the inside for the next turn. Very brave. Gets the job done. Oh, runs a little wide there.
One of the APR cars, they ran a little wide as well. So
yeah, so Lenosis has run...
One of the E-Bolt cars at the back of the...
Lenosis has run wide there, and Geesh has managed to say thank you very much. I'll have that P2 back, if you don't mind. So a little bit unfortunate there for Lenosis that he just went a bit wide, but cold tyres at the start of the race will do that to you. So Sways still in P4. Heafy going defensive there over Tim Durags. P6. Dale Teagues has made up a couple of spots there. He started P9, I do believe. He's up into 7th, half a lap in.
Just confirm that. Yeah, Dale Teague started P9.
Sneaky Stevo, P8. Thunder Artsy looking to throw it down the inside. Can't quite get it done. E-Bulk's made his way up to 10th. Ricky Bobby's dropped a spot down to 11th. But let's go back up the front. Captain Muffin is looking to bugger off into the distance, it would seem. He's got nearly a second up on Geesh, who's managed to pull half a second on Lenosis after that first lap dancing, shall we say.
Apparently there's nothing showing up on the screen.
Oh, for crying out loud.
I feel like Stevie Wonder at a race concert from Mr. Adelaide Ceramic Coatings. I can hear it, but can't see it.
Well, hopefully that has been fixed as of now. I have the feeling I hit the button next to the stream button, not the actual one I needed. So genuinely, my apologies, ladies and gentlemen.
Here we go.
Well, as we all know, I do stuff up at least once a race, so there we go. Hopefully that is just the one. Yes, thank you, Lord Belrock and Deborah Fish, for the input. Much appreciated.
Everyone pointing in the same direction.
Also, Mr. Bumcrack giving me a bit of a holler as well over the Teams Pit Radio, telling me to turn the stream on. Yep, we've got it done. Thank you very much, everyone, for your support. It's like having.
It wasn't for the viewers.
It's like having an audience and tech support all at once. We've just.
Well, if we didn't have the audience, we wouldn't have be able to correct it.
This would not be as much fun, I can tell you that much. Oh, geez, looking all sorts of sideways on the exit of turn 1 there. Just after he's dropped the fastest lap of a 141.3, trying to chase down Captain Muffin, who still is 8/10 to the good. Captain Muffin, what lap did he drop previously? He dropped a 41.5 onto that first flyer. So 2/10 down on Geesh's fastest lap. Little bit of daylight between Geesh and Lenosis to the tune of 1.1 seconds.
And I can confirm that all drivers are on the same compound of tyre.
Right, we will get to that in the tyre and fuel update in a few laps' time. Sways sitting in 4th. You little gaps just starting to form here and there. About a second between a few of these top 6, 7 drivers. I reckon. In the chat we've got people inquiring about the tyres. We might just hold you in suspense for another couple of laps. I mean, you've got a 50% chance of guessing it correctly, as there are only the 2 compounds available. So everybody getting fairly well spread out. Ricky Bobby back up to P9. Boss up to P10. Eefy's had a massive moment by the looks of it, down in P12. What's going on there?
Not sure, I missed that, but he is catching.
He's well off the back of the field, but interesting.
He's catching quite rapidly.
I reckon he
too,
might have had a
actually.
moment at turn 1, judging by his lap times and his positioning. Gonna have to get on the Thunder Team radio and see if we can see what happened there. But oh, Muffin's gone deep, and he's had a massive wiggle there, trying to get back on the power. Geesh is now right up on the back of him. I reckon there will be some choice words coming from underneath Captain Muffin's helmet after that one. Just fumbled it a little bit. He's under a monumental amount of pressure right now. But will that Corvette have the legs over the Mercedes down the straight? I think it does. He's just getting a couple of hundredths here and there, even with Geesh sitting in his slipstream. So let's see if we can take a look on our LJ Media Action replay and just see what happened there with Muffin. As coming down the back straight, he is just a bit deep on the brakes, nearly runs it wide, gets all sorts of squirmy, but manages to hold onto the position. So not the end of the world, but he has lost a little bit of ground. He's going to have to do all that hard work all over again to try and get a lead back out over our current championship leader. But I reckon someone who will be loving them to battle as hard as possible will be Lenosis, currently sitting in a 3rd position. He's managed to drop a bit of ground back to Sways, who is now joined by Tim Durags, who is Gonna send it around the outside, off the end of the back straight. No, looking for the switchback. Sway says nothing doing. I will cover that off. Thank you very much. Also a spicy looking battle forming behind them in the form of Sneaky Stevo and Dale Teeks fighting for 6th and 7th. Sways is having to go all sorts of defensive here. To try and cover off Tim Durags. Rightio, on lap 5, I think we should probably pick this moment to relieve the suspense for all the people in the chat and do an APR tyre and fuel update and let them know what is going on. So, Mr. Renegade, if you could take it away, thanks to APR Automotive.
Okay, first place, Captain Muffin, as mentioned earlier. All drivers are on the same compound of tyre. They are on the Racing Soft compound for this first stint of the race. We have Muffin's used probably about 30 to 35% of his front right, so that's the tyre that's going to cop a lot of the punishment in tonight's race, so I'll just be concentrating on that tyre for the tyre side of things. Fuel wise, he's probably got just over half a tank. Moving into second place with Jish. His tyre wear is a lot better. He's only used half as much on that front right. Fuel, he's looking a little bit better. He might be able to go possibly an extra lap over Muffin, but being sitting in the slip, so that will be helping him with his fuel usage. In third place, in the first of our Jaguar runners, is Lenosis. Also, as I said, also on all drivers on the soft tyres. His fuel, a little bit less than what Muffin's got. In terms of tyre wear, he's probably doing a little bit better than Muffin, but he's not better than Jish on his front tyre at the moment.
Currently
fourth place.
Drops the fastest lap of the race with a 1:41.155, if you don't mind. Sorry, continue on, please.
Oh, okay. Oh, well done, Lenosis. In fourth place, we have Swayze. Fuel-wise, he's got just over, all drivers have probably got just over a half a tank of fuel at this point in the race, looking at the current trend so far. He's probably used about 20% of his front right. Doing very well with that one. Fifth place in the TMR Jaguar is Timmy Drags. He's probably used about 30% of his front tyre on the right. In sixth place with Sneaky Stevo in the Jamco Jaguar. He's probably sitting just on half a tank now. Used probably the most fuel out of all the cars so far. Got about 30% of his front right worn. Dale Teeks in the AMG in 7th place. Looking, he's probably used about 15 to 20% of his, maybe 20% of his front right, so he's looking really well. Looking after those soft tyres in the Merc there. Thunder Artsy, pardon me for a second there. Been very brutal on his front right. He's used about 50% of it, so he could be in danger of any of the cars behind him, depending on how their tyres are as well. Ricky Bobby in 9th place, half a tank of fuel and about 30 to 35% of the front right gone. As we see E-Bulk moving up the inside. I was about to go to Boss, but E-Bulk takes that position, so E-Bulk's probably used about 45% of his front tyre and has about half a tank of fuel left. The Boss, about 35 to 40%, and he's used the most fuel from what I can see now so far. He's got under half a tank. And rounding out the field, He's heafy, half a tank, and he's used about 45% of his tyre as well on the front right.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Renegade, and thanks to APR Automotive. That is our tyre and fuel update. You are in safe hands. Now we will check in back up the front. And so far it's all still everyone running a line astern for the minute. Got Captain Muffin, who does have a distinct G bumper sticker on the back of that zero-turn Corvette at the moment. Big factor also, I think those two might have been holding each other up a little bit, as Lenosis has managed to drop that gap down to 6/10, so he's certainly going to be taking advantage of the slipstream provided to him by the Corvette and the Mercedes in front of him.
As Geesh goes a little bit deep into turn 1, manages to wrangle it back under control.
But these top three have managed to skip out in front of Sways to the tune of 4.5 seconds, who's still got Tim Durags for company. Tim Durags hasn't managed to find his way past just yet, might be content to sit in behind and just save a little bit of fuel. Trying to save some fuel and jump your opponent in the pit is certainly a viable strategy. Sneaky Steve-O just skimming the wall there. He's got Dale Teagues for company. Just 4/10 behind him. They can't go getting too cute, as not far off in the distance is Thunder Artie and Ricky Bobby, who's having a bit of a charge in the late part of this first stint. He's up into P9. Oh, Captain Lawnmower coming out again. He's run that little bit wide in the second sector. He's got Geesh all over the back of him, as they are both all sorts of sideways. As we've got a good old-fashioned drag race towards the final turn. Muffin's got the inside, got to be careful not to shove Geesh off. Oh, they've done well.
As Geesh takes it around the outside.
A good old-fashioned drag race with very willing participants. Geesh is defensive.
Here we have Muffin returning serve.
Muffin around the outside of turn 1. Oh, a little bit of bump and bash, and Geesh all kind of sideways. Muffin has a great run on the outside. Lenosis pokes his nose in and says, "Hello boys, I am here." We've got an old-fashioned tussle. Muffin doesn't know who to defend from. Do I defend Geesh? Do I defend Lenosis?
That's like we've got Clubber Lang versus Apollo Creed versus Rocky Balboa here.
Oh, it's all sorts of messy up here. Some absolutely brilliant racing going on. Geesh down the outside, past the church.
Who needs boobies on a
Lenosis!
Sunday night when you have this?
No, can't quite make it work. I think he's bump drafting Muffin. I think he wants that Corvette to go faster. As he's bump draft Muffin back past, will he be able to haul it up on time? No, he goes deep. Geesh goes down the inside. Oh, the bump drafting might have worked against Muffin there. That has... Oh, this is going to absolutely kick off. Side by side through the end of the second sector.
This just goes into second.
Brave. I think Lenosis sends it down the inside. Takes the race lead, if you don't mind, says Muffin.
From third to first in.
Muffin, I've helped you, but now you're going to be my rear gunner and hold Geesh off for me, as I'm going to try and bugger off. My turn. So there we go. Lenosis currently in first, Captain Muffin second, but he wants to say no thanks as he goes down the inside into turn 1. Can he pull it up on time? Oh, it's very, very pushy. Oh, there's some touching. There is some touching, but Muffin takes back the lead. All right, breathe.
Oh.
Breathe.
We have a unfortunate race retirement, as Artsy has left the race.
Right, the Artsy
retired back to the pits.
funded team owner car has decided to blow a valve or something. Some electronic gremlins. We might have to get on the radio there and find out. Muffin currently leading the way. Lenosis in a close hot pursuit. Geesh just lingering off the back of these two, I think. I reckon he might be playing the strategic game in terms of fuel and tyres. That, or he's seen how Muffin and Lenosis are battling and thinking, you know what, I'm not stepping in the middle of that. Also an intelligent move. As Captain Lawnmower has engaged, he has slapped the wall. That crosswind coming from the southwest is being absolutely hazardous.
And all this has brought sways and derags, so we now are having a 5-way battle up here.
Geesh is back into the lead, Lenosis in hot pursuit, Muffin back to third, and like you said, we've got some new faces at the party. Sways in fourth, he's only 6/10 off the back of Muffin. He's got Tim Derags with him as well. Some late arrivals at the start of lap 12.
Ivan Drago and Tommy Gunn Tommy Reed or whatever his name was.
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
Contenders from Rocky.
My knowledge of Rocky movies is up there with my knowledge of V8 Supercars history. Practically non-existent. I reckon watching those movies would probably help my cause there. Oh yeah, so fun fact, I've never seen the Rocky movies. Second fun fact, I've never seen the Godfather movies. Now, watch.
You're not the only one.
Watch the hate flow in from the YouTube chat.
I have not seen the Godfather either, so you're not alone in that one.
Given we're at an Italian racetrack, probably a little bit of blasphemy right there, but that's okay. I love it. So, Geesh and Lenosis still punching on up the front. Lenosis still holding on to that fastest lap. Certainly keeping the pressure on Geesh. He's making him earn that first position on track. Captain Muffin, second behind Lenosis now. Feel like those soft tyres on the front of that zero-turn Corvette have probably seen their best days.
Oh yeah.
Sways for BSR. Currently in fourth. 3/10 behind Captain Muffin. Tim Derags has had a little bit of a moment. He's dropped a couple of seconds back. He's not careful. He's going to have Sneaky Steve-O for company. Tim Derags definitely had a moment there. He's 5 seconds down on his best lap, so a little bit of a whoopsie there from the black light driver, but that's alright. Still a solid P5 at the moment. He's going to have Sneaky Steve-O, Ricky Bobby, who's done a great job getting himself up into P7. Got Dale Teeks, P8, E-Bulk into P9, as the boss has pitted at the end of lap 12. So, unless he's planning on doing a two-stopper, he's going to have to make that car last 14 laps somehow in the second stint. I think Heafy's had a bit of a not a great run tonight, as well as what's looking like not sure if that's a pit stop for Heafy on lap 9 with a 2:20, or whether that was just a bit of a bad time. How's Heafy's fuel and tyres looking there, Renegade? Was that a pit stop, or...?
He has stopped for a fresh set of boots.
Okay, so he has done a pit stop. That's that 2:20 lap. Roger that.
And he has 3/4 of a tank of fuel.
Rightio. Okay, so he didn't have a whoopsie, he had a pit stop. Roger that. But Geesh has managed to work out that gap to 1.1 seconds over Lenosis. Captain Muffin is under some red hot pressure at the moment from the BSR driver of Sways. Both of them ducking into the pits, following Lenosis. Geesh goes around again, probably looking very healthy on fuel and tyres, I would imagine, in comparison to the drivers that were around him. So he's going long on the first stint. Will the overcut work for Geesh, or will it come back to bite him? It will remain to be seen. Rightio, severe electrical gremlins for the Thunder team with Artie's electronics letting go on him. Bit unfortunate, but what can we do? A little bit of TV time at the moment for Mr. Shake and Bake, Ricky Bobby. Also running long, doing a 14 lap stint for his first one on those racing softs. First man out of the pits is my boy Lenosis, who comes out third on track. So he's got the two guys in front of him who have not pitted. Now he's 48 seconds down on our race leader, Geesh. So definitely worth keeping an eye on the gap after the pit. The gap was about 1.3 seconds before they pit. We'll see what has happened, whether that overcut works, as Geesh is into the pits, 4% into the tank. Ricky Bobby sideways around the final turn, probably happy to be rid of those tyres. 5% in the tank, so very similar to Geesh. Eyes back to Lenosis in a third, coming through the final sector now, or into the final sector now. Fuel still going in the tank for Geesh. It's clicked up 70%, 80%. Lenosis around the final corner now. Geesh leaving the pit box.
Another set of softs.
100%. I think all these guys here tonight will be running the double soft strategy. And that gap now between Geesh and Lenosis out to 3.7 seconds. So that's a 2.5 second gain from the overcut and the pit stop for Geesh. So certainly looking very dominant here tonight. Meanwhile, looking dominant at the moment is Sways, who is up into third place, having jumped Captain Muffin in the pits.
Lenosis goes purple into that first split. Onto the back straight, I mean.
He's going to have to work hard on conserving his tyres. Geesh will be doing one lap less, so he can certainly push a lot harder on his tyres and have a lot in reserve. Muffin down in P4, looking to take advantage of that slipstream on Sways. If he can just nail this late sector on the track, as he is currently 3.5 tenths purple. So I reckon we will be seeing a very comfortable 140 fastest race lap. Beefy up into P5. Although having said that, I do foresee us having a second stop out of Heafy, so I'm not quite sure if that that fifth position is outright at this stage. Tim Durags sitting in his slipstream as Captain Muffin drops a 140.840 fastest lap. Not that far off his qualifying time. Dale Teagues up in 7th. He's managed to make his way back past Ricky Bobby in that pit stop. Ricky Bobby having a fairly solid recovery drive here tonight. Rightio, so fairly solid lead for Geesh at the moment, getting dangerously close to that 4-second mark. Lanosis has got a comfortable 2.3 seconds up on Captain Muffin, who has just managed to get his way past Sways there, who's a little bit sideways. Just wanted to check in with the YouTube chat. Are you able to hear both myself and Renegade clearly? Just had a little bit of a problem with one of the audio programs we run. Just wanted to make sure everything is still okay.
I'm not hearing any voices on the stream at the moment. Oh, there we go. I can still hear voices.
I would recommend seeing a doctor if you're hearing voices, mate.
I have the stream up on the TV next to where I'm sitting.
Okay, please don't do that because that can give us some interesting feedback.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, back on track, Captain Muffin is working away. He's got himself a 1.1 second lead over Sways at the moment, and he's turned his attention to trying to track down Lanosis, who is 2.5 seconds in front of him. Further back, Tim Durags has managed to get his way past Heafy, which will certainly help his race case, as I do believe Heafy will owe us another pit stop sometime in the very near future. And coming up the back of Heafy is Mr. Dale Teeks, joined by Ricky Bobby. So that 6th place, currently occupied by Heafy, is looking like it's going to come under threat from not one but 2 drivers in the very near future.
See Sneaky Steve-O getting a move done up the inside of E-Bulk, coming around the final couple of corners of the lap.
Let's see if we can catch that on our LJ Media Action replay. Oh, as E-Bulk played Lawnmower Man, that crosswind definitely playing havoc, and that all but handed the position over to Sneaky Steve-O. So easy as you like. Very easy to make a mistake at that corner with this crosswind, I'm afraid. Seen a number of drivers fall foul of that outside wall tonight, and I suspect it won't be the last time we see it either. So Sneaky Steve-O moving up to 9th.
3-car battle for 6th place between Heafy, Dale Teeks and Ricky Bobby. Looking very spicy. Ricky Bobby, he goes to move up the inside of Dale, gets the move done. Dale takes it back.
This can prove to be a very interesting main straight turn 1 scenario, so we might just hang on to this one for a little bit. If I were Heafy, I would be all kinds of worried right now. You're looking in that rear view mirror thinking, oh no. Oh, he's ducked off into the pits. So that's our 2-stop strategy for Heafy going, as we've got the drag race between Dale Teeks and Ricky Bobby down the main straight. Ricky Bobby gets it done. Can Dale Teeks fire back into the braking zone? I don't think so. That seems fairly content to just sit behind him for now. Might be playing the, this guy's faster than me, so if I sit behind him, he can drag me up to the guy in front of him and maybe get me a little further up the track. So there's definitely a strategic element to it all.
Definitely. As Ricky Bobby just goes purple by almost a 10th there.
A lot of support in the chat for Captain Muffin from Mr. Ryan Archer. Pleasure to have you here.
Muffin's just had his fastest lap taken from him from Geesh by 0.006 of a second.
Oh, 0.006 of a second. Muffin will be cursing. Well played, Geesh. Oh, Captain Lawnmower engaged again. Having a lot of drama with that left-hander up over the hill in the third sector. That crosswind increasing to 6.1 meters a second now, so it's basically going to try and shove you off the track. We'll have a look further down the field at the moment. Sneaky Steve-O up in P8 as he runs wide and slaps the wall. Exact mirror image of what E-Bulk did just 2 laps ago, I would imagine. But I don't think E-Bulk is going to get the position back. What I think we should do is let's check in for our second tyre and fuel update and get an idea of how everybody's travelling. So thanks to APR Automotive, you are in safe hands. Tyre and fuel update, take it away, Mr. Renegade.
Okay, here we go. In first place with a very comfortable 5-second lead, Jish with CP Motorsports AMG. Recently he came in at the end of lap 14. So he's used about 15 to 20% of his front tyres. He's got just a fraction under half a tank. So he'll have more than enough fuel and tyre, given the fact that he only used, I think, probably about 50% of his tyre first stint over his 14th lap. So he's looking really good in for the win tonight, looking after his tyres really well. In second place, Lenosis used about 40 to 45% of his front right, just under half a tank of fuel. So all these drivers now should be good to go to the end on fuel at this point in the race. Third place, Captain Muffin, looking good on fuel. He's got just a fraction under half a tank. His front right is screaming out to him, saying hurry up and finish this race because I'm already halfway gone. Swayze in fourth place, half a tank of fuel, used about 20% of his front tyres. Fifth place, Timmy Durags, used about 30% of his front tyre, just under half a tank of fuel. Ricky Bobby, same again, about 30%. Dale Teeks, same sort of tyre wear as the car in front of him, so they look at a nice feisty little battle here where they're sitting on track. So, but you know, he's looking after his tyres. He's used about 35%, a little bit more fuel than the other cars, but still should have enough to go through to the finish. Sneaky Steve-O in 8th place, plenty of fuel, just under half a tank, about 35% of his tyre is worn. E-Bulk in 9th, got about 40% of his tyre worn, but just under half a tank of fuel. So as I said, all these guys are good to go to the end. Efi in 10th place on a fresh set of boots, so he will be lying in that Jaguar, hopefully. And rounding out the field, the boss, who's used the most of his fuel on this stint so far, and has about 45 to 50% of his front tyres gone.
Thank you very much, Renegade, and thank you very much, APR Automotive, for that tyre and fuel update. So we'll check back in up the front. Very comfortable indeed. Mr. Geesh, 5.7 seconds to the good, also with the current fastest lap. Pretty hard to see him not finishing on the top step of the podium here tonight. Just going back to Lenosis, also looking very comfortable in P2, but he can't get too comfortable because that is only a 3-second gap back to Captain Muffin behind him, who also has, well, he's got a 4-second gap back to Swayze, who, well, he's got to be the least comfortable out of all the mentioned drivers because he has a red-hot, racy-looking Tim Durags right on the back of him, who really looks like he wants that P4 right now. So in the late stages of this race, on the end of lap 22, there is still action to be had.
To interrupt you there, I think Juice just had a little moment there, a little bit of a wobble out of turns.
He's got 5 seconds to the good. I reckon he's able to afford a little bit of a wobble.
Yeah, he's lost about 2/10 off that gap, so yeah, he had a bit of a... Just as I flick through the cameras.
We got Ricky Bobby in P6. He can't get too comfortable either. He's only 1.3 seconds up on Dale Teeks in P7. As we finish lap 22, we've got 4 laps to go here at Sardegna. I feel it might be a little bit of a battle of attrition in terms of tyre wear. Will we see some errors start to creep in as the grip levels start to drop off? Will we see anyone run out of fuel? This battle between Sways and Tim Durag, 4th and 5th, still not over. Sways has managed to get himself a little bit of breathing space. Gap is just under a second. But I don't think Tim Durags is going to go away anytime soon. Might just jump for a jump into an onboard shot of Mr. Tim Durags. Watch as he tries to chase down Rocky 05 Sim Racing Mercedes of Mr. Sways. Lawnmower mode not engaged on that left-hander. Beautiful apex there. Hard on the power out of the corner. No wheel spin, no sideways, just pure forward momentum. Using all of the track onto the entry to the main straight. Just managing to reel in that Mercedes by a couple of hundredths here and there. Closes right up onto the back of it under brakes. Past the windmills, a little bit of a safety lift there. Got to be very careful under brakes into that left-hander, otherwise you will slide the car sideways. Great first sector there from Tim Durags. Sways a little wide there, past the church. That might cost him on the back straight. Still managing to stay 6-7 tenths up. Just look at the ground made by Tim Durags under brakes. That is sensational from the blacklight driver. BSR Mercedes, pretty good down the straights and through the tour. Little moment there from Tim Durags, little wide onto the grass.
Manages to keep it.
You can almost hear the sigh of relief being breathed. Is that the right word? I'll run with it. Being breathed by Sways right there as he watches that delta creep back up to 1.2.
A very massive sigh of relief.
Just caught Geesh at the end of a little bit of a slide out of turn 1 there. He's got a fairly comfortable margin of 7.5 seconds to Lenosis in a P2, who has had a bloody great drive tonight. It's 6 minutes to 9, I can say that. Captain Muffin, P3 at the moment. Probably not going to chase down either of the guys in front of him, but he keeps his nose clean. He can keep his distance in front of Sways. So I feel like Sways' attention is purely occupied on driving fast enough to stay in front of the hard-charging Tim Durags behind him. Ricky Bobby with a bloody great drive, I must say. He's up into P6.
Where did he start
I think
from,
he started
actually?
11th from memory. I could be wrong, but somewhere down the lower order.
Started P10.
I was close, so it started 10th.
Very
Oh, Dale
close.
Teague's very wide there. That's not the apex, son. Gone a little deep under brakes. Sneaky Steve-O in P8. I might tell you what, he might be under fire here from Heafy, the two-stopper. He's in P9. He's less than a second behind Sneaky Steve-O, but he will have noticeably better tyres than Sneaky Steve-O. So, entirely possible we could see Heafy finish in 8th. Watch this space. Unless Heafy goes wide and slaps the wall and gets all kinds of crossed up. Manages to keep facing in the right direction. But
And off the wall.
those fresher tyres... Oh, he definitely slapped the wall.
Oh,
He did. He ran wide and did slap the wall, which caused that
Yep.
that Code Brown moment. But he has managed to keep it facing the right direction. So, final lap. Here we go. Lap 26 of 26. Got to give a little bit of TV time for our race leader and current championship leader. He's basically got one hand on the trophy at this stage. Look, don't want to say it's over, so I won't. But Mr. Geesh having a very,
Well, that lady hasn't sung yet.
very dominant season here in season 12. Also, with a bloody good race being driven tonight is my boy Lenosis. Hashtag all of the bias. He's had a sensational drive. Managed to put both Geesh and Muffin under pressure. I do feel like it was probably just some excessive fuel and tyre usage that put him off the pace a little bit in that pit stop. But oh shit, as I missed Mr. Geesh crossing the line because I'm talking too much. Well done, congratulations Mr. Geesh on the race win. Bringing home second place is Mr. Lenosis. Third place, Captain Muffin. Fourth place, Swayze. Holding off a hard charging Tim Durags. Sixth place will be taken home by Ricky Bobby. Seventh place, Mr. Dale Teeks. And we will give a little bit of Sneaky Steve-O TV time, who will, from all accounts, hold off Mr. Heafy to bring home 8th place. Ladies and gentlemen, if you could start throwing in your Driver of the Day nominations into the chat, that would be very much appreciated. Heafy, Mr. Two-Stopper, bringing home 9th. The boss having already finished. And did I just see E-Bolt all sorts of sideways into pit,
And goes into the
into
pits.
pit lane? That's one way to finish a race, ladies and gentlemen. Not one that I would overly recommend, but there we have it. Thanks to APR Automotive, Cat 1A, round 6, run and done. Rightio, so let's have a quick recap of the race results before we get into our driver of the day. Thanks to Adelaide Ceramic Coatings and APR Automotive. I have pushed the wrong damn button again. So they probably didn't want to sponsor the error, but yay! There we go. 5th time's a charm. Rightio. So, with the race win and the fastest lap extra bonus point is Mr. Geesh from CP Motorsports. Second place is my boy Lenosis from APR. Third place, Captain Muffin for Zero Turn. Fourth place, Sways for BSR. Fifth place, Tim Durags for Blacklight Motorsports. My other boy, Ricky Bobby, bringing home P6 for APR Motorsport. Dale Teeks bringing home 7th for Kraken Esports. Sneaky Steve-O sneaking his way into the top 8 for Jamco. And then we've got Heafy for Thunder Motorsports. E-Bulk for Hyperdrive Sim Sports, bringing home a 3-second penalty at the end of that race too for his little indiscretion with the pit lane. 11th place for the team points for Blacklight is the boss, and our unfortunate disconnect tonight was Mr. Artsy for Thunder Motorsports, with the electrical gremlins rearing their ugly head in the Thunder Motorsports Jaguar. Rightio, so that is us, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Renegade, what are your thoughts for our driver of the day?
It's a hard one to say. I hate to give it to the race winner, but I have to give it to Jeesh. I mean, he looked after his fuel and tyres, like you could say, better than anyone else, which is what attributed to such that large victory, like the large winning margin that he had.
Definitely a solid winning margin for Jeesh there. Checking in the chat, driver of the day is so hard. Yes, Mrs. Deborah Fish, I do agree completely with you on that one. Nomination for driver of the day, Captain Muffin. I've got a driver of the day for Mr. Sways. Driver of the day, Jeesh. Driver of the day for Two Stop Heafy from Heafy. Hashtag no bias. I'm going to be very biased. I'm gonna throw my driver of the day nomination to my boy Mr. Shake and Bake, Ricky Bobby, starting off in P10 and fighting his way up to a final P6 is certainly nothing to be sneezed at.
Very notable mention.
So I think actually the winner of our driver of the day is courtesy of your nomination, and one from the chat in the form of Mr. Jeesh, our race winner. So congrats, Mr. Jeesh. You didn't get the pole position extra point, but you did pick up the extra accolade of being our driver of the day tonight. So well done on your race win and fastest lap, as well as the driver of the day. Hopefully you have a fantastic celebration tonight. So I just want to say thank you to everyone in the YouTube chat for joining us tonight, and to everyone for watching, for joining us at some point tonight. Do the usual, please click the like button, hit the subscribe button, and if you have seen this and are interested in joining into the racing in Sector 1, please check the video description, as there will be a link to join our Sector 1 Discord. So looking forward to having you. Now we do have a week's break, as mentioned earlier, because of Mother's Day next Sunday, so be sure to have a visit or a phone call, or just do something nice, or you should always do something nice for your mum, but just make her day a little bit extra special next Sunday, and then we will be back in 2 weeks' time on the 17th of May for the Category 2 races here at Sardegna. So after seeing the racing tonight, I've pretty much concreted my strategy of how I'm going to attack the race. Now I just need to get good and
execute.
Try and get the skill issues out of my system. So anything you'd like to say before we kick off tonight, or head off tonight?
No, just hopefully everyone put on a good show for all the viewers out there, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time for the next round.
Excellent.
And a big thank you and shout out to all the sponsors.
Thank you very much, Mr. Renegade, for being our race director tonight, and also thank you very much to myself for being a race director tonight.
Well, you've got to give yourself some self-love. I mean,
Hang on.
if you
I
don't, who
know
else will?
we're after 9 o'clock, but geez, calm down.
Hey, let's keep it. We're keeping it PG here. We're keeping it PG
I was
here.
going to say give myself a pat on the back, but yep, we'll go with that.
That's kind of what I was talking about. You got to give yourself just a little bit of self-love.
No, and on that note,
Because if you don't, who else will?
on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head off. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you all in 2 weeks' time. Have a good one.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Sector 1. We are here tonight for some Category 1 racing action around Palisades Village.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning, oh. And this is just the beginning, I need a big change, only feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all. And we all got dreams, we all want things. But what you gonna do for it, how you gonna move for it, what you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? Let's go! Hey!
Hello everybody, welcome back to Sector 1.
He only goes second 2! Oh my goodness!
Gee, she went wide.
Oh, he's run wide and goes dead!
Oh my!
Oh no! No! You can't do that!
Used to see that steering wheel. What that do?
Fuzzy is somehow keeping it on the track surface! It's a spectacular drive, and he will take his first win in the top flight of Sector 1.